sites are reaching out to conservatives, including Rumble.com. I'm starting to use them myself, whose traffic more than doubled between April and October. And let's see, MeWe.com, which markets itself as an anti-Facebook, Facebook-styled site, according to somebody, or I'm assuming, according to The Writing, which is spelled Rightting. I'm not familiar with them, but there's a link. I'll have to check them out at some point. And again, right now I'm still reading from what Forbes had to say about their interview with Levin. That's Mark Levin. You should check out his podcast. He's really, really good. He's well-researched and a tremendous speaker. Let's see, while competition is never a bad thing, the troubling aspect about the rise of these sites is that it facilitates the cracking of the American population into two distinct tribes, which is true. I'm loving Parler. There is really no liberal, democratic, DNC crapola. There's no communism. You're right, there are trolls that log in and they throw their insults, but it's awesome because on Parler, we are the majority, and we don't have to put up with the horse shit. But we are divided. We're over on Parler. Everyone else is over on Twitter who doesn't agree. Not that that's how it is right now, but that's where it's going. Parler's going to be all conservative. Twitter's going to be nothing but libtards and snowflakes. So while competition is never a bad thing, the troubling aspect about the rise of these sites is that it facilitates the cracking of the American population into two distinct tribes. With completely different values, beliefs, and channels for information and communication. Howard Polskin wrote recently in The Writing, in fact, it is likely to accelerate the division. Whatever the flaws of Facebook, Twitter, and other social media giants, they function as massive and often unruly town squares where users can listen to many different opinions in one central location. Well, maybe that's how our country got so divided in the first place. Being that we communicate more with computers than anything else anymore, we have little switches. We can block anybody who annoys us or aggravates us. If you are influential with the platform, you can mute them to hundreds of thousands of millions of people. I'm willing to bet that Facebook must even have members up in the billions. So, well, give me just a second here. I've recently become addicted to energy drinks. Here in New York, there's a brand called Venom, and I like them because they're only $1, and they're not bad. They work pretty good. No, I don't get paid by Venom. Venom don't know who I am. Venom don't support my ideas, and I have nothing to do with Venom at all, except I like them because they're a low-cost, quality energy drink. Well, okay. Over the next 2 years, I think the biggest story that we're going to run into is going to be social media. I think we're going to start reading about some social media outlets are going to go under. If you take a look at Facebook, I personally believe that it is inhabited by more Republicans and conservatives than snowflakes and liberals. And with a good portion of us making a great egress over to Parler, and I'll tell you, Parler is not a replacement for Facebook. Parler is a replacement for Twitter, and it's a damn good replacement for Twitter. But it does overlap into some of the services and abilities that you have on Facebook. I really do enjoy Parler. The people there, it's a better quality of people. But enough about Parler. They don't pay me either. But boy, they've made things a lot better since I'm banned on Facebook for 7 days for calling myself a retard. Oh, that really just pisses me off. So, as I was saying, let's see, progressive versus conservative ideology war over the definition of freedom of speech in our First Amendment rights and what they actually mean. That's what's going on social media. Prior to social media, and that does include prior to America Online, because that was the first multi-massive online social media. I used to chat, used to use their message boards, I used to find new dates, and I used to run an email campaign for all the stuff I was into back then. Prior to the internet, you had to have money or fame or influence to get your message massively large audience. I guess I wrote that wrong. Prior to the internet, you had to have money or fame or influence to get your message out to a massively large audience. Social media platforms, I have to agree, have made that very, very easy. You take a look. I can reach 10,000 people within a couple hours. Even if you only retain 2 or 3% or sell to get them to 2 or 3% to choose your brand, you've made a decent amount of money, and they've made it a lot easier. I'm older. I started trying to produce my heavy metal bands around 1984 through 1990, and oh my goodness, to reach people, I would have to play 8, 9, 10 gigs in 7, 8 different cities, and still not reach as many people as I can in 10 minutes on Facebook. Well, as I was saying, prior to the internet, you had to have money, fame, influence. You had to have some kind of massive resource to reach a massively large audience. As I said, social media platforms make that easy. They even make it free. But you have to agree to give up your rights if they interfere with their user policies, even when they take away your constitutional rights. How can anyone come to you thinking they're treating you with respect when they're asking you to give up your constitutional rights? What the fuck? I mean, how have we allowed this to happen? Why isn't there a law against that? Maybe that's something we should really think about. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok have one other huge stick of leverage. Our mothers, our fathers, our daughters, our sons, our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents, great-grandparents, our friends, the neighbor, our favorite teachers, old bosses, great fishing buddies are all anchored into Facebook. They're not going anywhere. You get banned for 7 days, well, you're just going to have to talk to them through Messenger. And at the end of that 7 days, you'll be going, hallelujah, I can speak on Facebook again. Hey, everybody, blah, 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 blah. And for someone like me to sit there and have to read things that I can't respond to because I do feel the world needs to be informed of my opinion. I'm kidding. Well, I do feel that way, but so doesn't every other human being. We all think that we know the secret to the universe and that it's us that it takes to save the universe. But nonetheless, you get locked out of Facebook, you're out of the family, you're out of the friend circle. There's even, I worked at a place that the dude kept insisting on contacting us through our Facebook Messenger, which I didn't like. That's for personal life, not my employment. I don't want my boss seeing what kind of weird friends and crazy, stupid shit I do on Saturday night. So anyways, this has been a real long-winded episode. I'm looking at about 24 minutes at this point, which for me is a longer episode. I enjoy doing the 15 minutes. I can usually say what I have to say in about 10 minutes. And of course, I never feel like I say enough, so then I give it another 5. But tonight, I really wanted to talk about Facebook. I really wanted to get that off my chest. Like I said, over the next 4 years, the biggest story ain't going to be Joe Biden's presidency. It's going to be about social media, its successes and collapses, and how it's going to usher in even stronger mind control than it already has. You think about how bad they had mind control with regular TV. I'm talking about prior to 1990, though the internet came out after 1990. In 1990, there was a lot of online venues to interact with other people and start spreading your word. Prior to that, with television, you got a commercial. You had to stay inside the guidelines of what the FCC says you can and cannot say. Just like Facebook, you had all these rules, and if you didn't follow them, you were cut off. But you weren't able to see any feedback. All you could do was monitor your sales, monitor your phone lines, monitor your business. With the social media network, they have a psychological breakdown of each and every one of us. There's artificial intelligent programs who know what product to put right in front of your eyeball, and they know with an 80% accuracy you're going to buy that son of a bitch. We need to start thinking about how to slow down this machine. We really need to start thinking about how does this affect us all? We're all spending too much time staring at that little device. And I'm guilty. I'm upset because Facebook banned me for 7 days, and that has affected my business, my reputation, my ability to communicate with family and sell my ideas, so to speak. Well, I've given you all something to think about. Anybody out there is listening, I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes. Maybe we can get a call in. I don't care if you oppose my opinion or agree with it. I'll give you 2-3 minutes to say what you need to say. You can dial 518-279-6075, 518-279-6075, and you'll be calling right into Crusader Radio and Podcast. What else has been going on in other news? Let me take a look, see if we can pull something up. I have harped on the Facebook issue quite enough. I don't think there's anybody out there who's going to call. I think I've only got right now, well, I'm not going to tell you. I do have some listeners, but I wish it was the tens of thousands that Mark Levin gets. Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck. Boy, Ben Shapiro, there's a young person, and that's giving away my age. Believe me, I'm a lot older than I sound. Ben Shapiro makes my heart, takes a lot of stress off this old heart that I have, because it's good to see a young person in his generation who has their shit together and knows how to say it and express it. That kid is a blessing, and I can see him being president someday. He should think about the 2024 bid. Oh boy, you think the libs were mad at Donald Trump? Ben Shapiro, oh my goodness, they'd set the whole country on fire, them crazy bastards. Well, this has been another great episode, as always. I want to thank everybody who tuned in and listened, everybody who tunes into the podcast. I want to thank our emergency responders. I want to thank our military personnel. They keep us safe, and they keep us free. The other thing is I want to invite anybody who wants to help me turn sheeple back into people. The corrupt media outlets, which sad to say is about 90% of them, have really urinated on the human mind and have caused a deterioration in the human collective here in the United States of America. With that, I'd like everyone to have a good night.